Welcome back to the Artie Lange Show. Before we get to the great John Avello, let me say this. Thanks to French Quarter's Guest Apartments for being our New York City hotel. Let them be your headquarters in New York City. Go to FrenchQuartersNY.com to book your next stay. That's FrenchQuartersNY.com to book your next stay. Let's go to the guy who runs the Wynn Sportsbook at the Wynn's Hotel and Casino out in Vegas, the great John Avello. What's up, buddy?
Hey, Mr. Lange. I'm doing well. Thanks.
Hey, thanks for joining us. As always, let's talk college football, man. What a menagerie of wonderfulness. First of all, just as a pure, not even the gambling aspect, just a pure sports fan, how much fun was it to watch all that on Saturday?
Well, Auburn played 2 back-to-back games. One was fun for me and one wasn't.
That's what I'm going to say. Can you even, for a living, stuff goes up and down with gambling for you. So the joy can go out of a great game because it might swing away where it affects your livelihood.
Right, but this happens all the time. But so you kind of take it. You don't really get too emotional about each game because there are so many during the course of the year. But the first Auburn game against Georgia, we actually needed Georgia, and they were getting slaughtered in that game, and they came all the way back to be within covering the spread.
They covered, good.
And then all of a sudden, the Auburn with the big play. That cost us 6 figures plus.
Wow.
Then the next game, the next game we actually were pretty balanced on the game. I can't say that really hurt us too much, but it was fun to watch. It was a very entertaining game between Auburn and Alabama. Now, what's in store for us this week with Auburn and Missouri? Something bizarre, I'm sure, right?
What line do you have on that?
We're at 2. I opened this game 1 Auburn. I'm up to 2, so there's been early Auburn money.
Right.
And it's settled at 2, and not much going on at this point. So we'll see where it goes from here.
Interesting. In my mind, basically a pick 'em as a gambler. That's what I think. What do you, John Ritchie? What are you thinking? Does Auburn definitely win that game in your mind?
No.
Not even close.
Well, look at the last 2 weeks, man. I mean, they've kind of come out of that, emerged smiling with prayers both weeks. I mean, that's not inspiring a lot of confidence.
They beat Bama and who else?
Georgia.
And Georgia. All right, so but 2 elite teams.
Yeah, geez, I mean, you play those games 10 times and they don't win 10 times.
Bama much more elite than Georgia. Georgia's just having a really off year.
Yeah.
A lot of personnel hurt, just not a typical Georgia year. Alabama, though, that's quite a victory.
Absolutely. Yeah. They beat A&M. What do you give them for that?
They beat everybody except for LSU.
Right.
So they've had a terrific season.
But so is Missouri.
What's interesting this week, and this all goes to tomorrow, is the Florida State-Duke game. We're taking this off the board tonight. We are at 28 right now.
Wow.
They 28-point favorite over Duke. And, of course, there's a press conference tomorrow morning, which will be 11 o'clock our time, 2 on the East Coast. I don't know what to see through what I'm hearing so far. I don't know if this means that Winston's clear or Winston's not. If Winston's cleared, then we put the game back up at 28.5 and we play on Saturday. If Winston's not cleared and he's arrested, he won't play in this game, and this line will drop probably 10 points, all the way down to roughly 18.5 or so.
When something like this goes on in your position, do a lot of people call you who are frauds that you have to decipher, claiming to know inside information? Do you get bombarded with fraudulent calls in a situation like this? Like, I know something. I work in the office. I'm a guard. I'm a sure.
Yeah, that's a great
does
question.
that happen a lot with you?
No. It doesn't. It really doesn't. So I haven't had that happen especially on this particular instant. And to be honest with you, not looking back, there's a few calls that come through, but not an abundance of them.
Huh.
Right. That's why. I mean, it's just what an odd situation to where it's resting on that. I mean,
And somebody will know, Artie. Don't you think, like in the morning, the press conference is at 2 your time? Don't you think at 9 or 10 tomorrow morning, some people are going to know, right?
sure.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
That's why I have to take it down, because some people are going to know.
Yeah.
People are going to know before I know.
What is
That's
Duke?
not good.
What is Duke's record?
Duke is good.
Yeah.
Duke,
Yeah.
Duke has 10 wins this year.
Okay.
I mean,
Well-
they're good. They got this David Cutcliffe, who's done an amazing job. He's turned that program around. He's
Right.
the head coach. He was the Manning's quarterback coach. I
Right.
think he was Peyton's quarterback coach at Tennessee. He worked with Eli somehow when he was at Ole Miss. I'm not exactly sure how. But the guy's an offensive expert. I can't believe Duke is good. I can't believe Duke is good. And that 28 points, I mean, that seems like an awful lot because they can put points up themselves.
Yeah, but I guess what you have to look at when Florida State, all the other opponents that Florida State,
They
have
have a
met
great
this
defense.
year, they've thrown up minimum 55 on
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah.
Duke's not going to slow them down.
No,
The question
they
is, that does Duke get a backdoor cover?
Right.
That's the question.
I think, yeah.
That could happen.
Great
I mean,
chance.
that could happen with 28. Yeah.
Yeah.
That could happen.
Hey, I got a couple questions for
Go
you
right
on the
ahead.
NFL games. I'm looking Bills at Bucks. The Bucks
Ladies and
are
gentlemen.
getting some respect, I guess. I mean, the Bucks are 2.5-point favorites in that game.
That is respectful.
And
Absolutely.
then I look at the Texans at Jacksonville. Jacksonville, I put them in the same category as the Bucks. Both teams who just did not win early, and now they've kind of turned things around. But you have the Jacksonville Jaguars being 3-point underdogs to the Texans at home. I'm wondering what the difference is there. I feel like both the Bucks and the Jaguars have been playing really well the last month.
I would agree with you. If you look at Houston's game last week,
Yeah.
they played good enough to win.
Mhm.
They still have terrific personnel on that team, mostly on the defensive side.
Yes.
And so you have to think that.
So do the Bills, though. I mean, the Bills lead the league in sacks right now.
But if you take those four teams you just mentioned, Houston, Jacksonville, the Bills, and Tampa Bay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, before the season started, you would have told me that the team most likely and for sure would go to the playoffs would be Houston.
Right.
And so, therefore, we've dropped them down a lot. This game would have been, if Houston's playing well, this game would have probably been 10 or 11.
Yeah.
So the adjustment's been made on the game.
Yeah.
They're 3 point. Actually, they're 3.5 now. So
Oh, okay.
there's been some Houston money showing up early. So Houston's the 3.5-point favorite. And on the other side, I agree with you. I think Tampa's probably playing a touch better than the Bills, and you got to give them a little bit of home field there. And that's kind of where that's how that line settled at 2.5.
Okay.
Interesting.
What about the Lions at Eagles? Eagles are 3-point favorites at home. I know that's even.
Wow, that is interesting.
But the Lions
Yeah.
looked amazing on Thanksgiving. I mean, they handed the Packers, their behinds, and I'm just wondering the thought process behind that.
That's another home field advantage line, really. Yes, they did. The Lions did look good on Thanksgiving, but every other week they look awful. Not awful, just not up to standards that they did the week previous. That's kind of the way their season's been
Awful.
going.
Mm-hmm.
And Philly's, I don't consider Philly a real good football team, but
I don't.
I mean, they're winning games, and
What were the stats? Didn't they have some kind of crazy stat until just like last week where they had lost like 10 straight home games or something like that?
It's that division. I can't trust anything about
What is it? What was Philly's? Can someone look at this? Philly's record at home? Like they had a losing streak at home that went back to last year where they were in double digits.
Guys, just JPEG that to my mini iPad.
I don't think they have a home losing streak of double digits, do they?
I think they did. I mean, now they've won at home, but
Yeah.
I just kept thinking, I've played in Philly, and it's not necessarily a home field advantage when you get behind because the fans hate
it's
you.
It's a really good football game, though, because both teams are trying to win, their respective divisions.
Yeah.
And Detroit's, they're one game up, and Philly's right there with Dallas.
Yeah.
And so these are two divisions where if you don't win your division, you might not go to the playoffs.
Right. They won't.
Because when you look at the wild cards right now, that you have to think that either New Orleans
be the Panthers or
Carolina
New
will be
Orleans,
a wild card. And then you have to think that, Seattle's going to win that division, so you have to think either the 49ers or maybe the Cardinals are a wild card. And so these teams are going to have to win a division to get in.
Right, without a doubt. That's a great point. These are big games.
Yeah,
big games the next few weeks.
Yeah, it really is an odd situation in that division. It really is, and it's not fun to watch for me. I guess it's just
the
weird.
NFC East.
Yeah, it's just weird to watch for me more than anything.
Are you more of a Giant fan, Artie?
I'm a big time Giant fan. I always
too.
have been. And it obviously an ugly year in a lot of ways.
They still have a chance to make the playoffs.
There's only 3 teams.
Mathematically.
Only 3 teams as of this afternoon. I was watching SportsCenter on ESPN. Only 3 teams are mathematically out of it. One of them, the Redskins. What a disappointment, RG3. What do you think about RG3's future, John? I'm curious what your thoughts are on that.
I don't know. What do they really want to do with him? Because in the National Football League, as a running quarterback, you have to have a body that can take punishment, like a Cam Newton type.
He's a big guy. Yeah.
You're really, look at Michael Vick. Look at some of the others that have tried to come to the NFL and run the football. And
Mike Vick, same body type.
Concussionville.
Yeah. Well, that's why people stayed away. The people who picked Andrew Luck over RG3 when that whole debate was going on 2 years ago, a lot of it had to do with body style. RG3 is a thin, ectomorphic football player.
Wait a minute. What? Ectomorphic? Yeah. What is that, Mr. English major? What does ectomorphic mean?
Skinny body type.
Well, say skinny. We're not.
A mesomorph is a bigger, huskier body type like Andrew Luck. That's what you look for when you look for a football player. There are staffs of, front office guys, GMs who look for the cookie cutter size and weight. Of
course, I know.
For a reason. It's because it holds up. It stands the test of time that those body types last and can endure in this, brutal sport.
My point is
RG3 doesn't fit that body type.
My point is it's 12:45 in the morning on a Wednesday night on the Artie Lange show. Who listening knows ectomorphic? Say skinny. Say skinny.
When you talk about body types, when you talk about body types, the word, ectomorph and mesomorph is what people use to describe the body type.
Not this audience.
Yeah.
Not this audience, my
friend.
You
and we use svelte body type.
Right, I'm svelte.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I don't know. It's an interesting year. I'm college hoops. I look forward to that every year. And break it down for me a little bit. What are we looking at college hoops?
How about tonight? Tonight, number 1 Michigan State went down to North Carolina. Did that cost you?
No, that actually didn't.
Oh.
That one worked out okay.
We fish for misery.
Sorry, I was Mike Bochetting.
Guys, when you look at college basketball, and I know you both enjoy college basketball, this time of the year, you can, you see a team like Michigan State lose, it really doesn't mean a lot,
right?
Because they prepare for the end of the season. That's what they do. They try to get better as the season goes on, and and you're going to see a lot of these top 10 teams. They're going to lose some games during the course of the year. But when it comes tournament time, that's what they're getting ready for. That's what their coaches get them ready for. So this time of the year, you're going to see some upsets. But you can expect Michigan State and Duke and Kansas and Kentucky and Louisville. You're going to see them all there. Sure, they may lose a game in the Sweet 16, but they're all going to be there at the end.
What do you think? What do you make of North Carolina? You look at they're 5-2. They beat Louisville when Louisville was number 3 in the country. They beat the #1 team in the country in Michigan State, but they've also lost to UAB and Belmont. Going forward, I mean, how do you view
hoops.
them?
Great college hoops. I love it.
They're very talented. They're just young. Yeah, again, when the tournament comes around, they may be one of the contenders, but up until that point, you're going to see ups and downs with this team.
Yeah.
And but this is a program that's probably going to be solid for a few years moving forward.
Well,
Right.
Going to be fun. A lot to talk about moving forward. I look forward to a lot of good conversations with the great John Avello, especially about college hoops, but everything. The pros, we talked about college football and how much fun that's going to be. A lot of fun, man. It's a great time to be a sports fan. I'll tell you that. And a great time to be a fan of John Avello. That's always a good time. For
Amen.
Thanks, Artie.
John, thanks, man. We'll talk
You're
to you.
welcome.
Yeah, we'll
Nice
talk to you
talking to you
real
guys.
soon. As
Okay,
always,
thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
The Artie Lange Show, weeknights on Audience, only on DirecTV.